So, hi Neb, what's up? How are you, man?
Hey, dude, how are you? I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing great too. So, without any
Awesome.
interruptions, let's start the interview. So, my first question is, how do you make sure that you have time to create, or do you have a set time table built into your calendar? Oh my god. Oh, wait.
Haven't. Yeah, I know what you mean. So, first of all, I think about my week and also what I'm going to do. So, if I do have like free times, I do sort of take on personal projects. However, a lot of the time, I don't really have that time. So, what I usually do is pretty much, I sort of, what's it called? I find time. Or what I would do is I would focus on my full studies because I'm in college at the moment, so I focus more on education first rather than Roblox stuff. And if I have the time, then I do take on commissions or I do personal work or projects, like I said.
So, what's your tip on the best way to maintain your life and work? Do you struggle with it, or yeah?
Yeah. So what I do is, I would first advise for everyone or anybody take on commissions to have a day for a break. So that is a free day, a whole day to just chill or like to communicate with your friends or family, to play games or, to take your mind off the work, And what I would usually tell people who are commissioning me is to allow for an extra week just in case something happens or if I need free time. So I don't really have to worry about like certain stuff like, oh, I won't have enough time to do this. So like, you know, definitely put your mental health before any other things, because you have to focus on yourself first to then focus on others.
Yep. So, do you have a network of other artists you rely on, and what do you do to support each other?
Well, to be honest, right now I'm not relying on anybody. However, I do tend to help the community out by giving constructive criticism, or if anybody asks in my DM or I need help about this specific thing, if I do know like how to help that person, then certainly, most definitely, I will.
Yep. So, do you have any long term goals, and how do you revisit them to make sure that you're moving along the path?
Well, on Roblox, I would love to start 3D modeling. I think it'll really help. Like, it'll also be like really like a blend in with UI design. To be honest with you, because like I've seen on Google like UX work with 3D designs, and it totally looks great, man.
Yep.
Personally, I'd also love to program to then on develop games in the future, and to sort of like, well, I would have loved to do this like way before, but like because of the time and my time is very limited, so it wouldn't make sense for me to learn now. So in the future, I'll definitely try something like it.
Yep. That's great. So, do you have a barrier to being an artist, and how do you address it?
Well, this is like an ongoing theme, but time is my barrier, to be honest with you. Like, I have very limited time, so when I do have time, I do love to like do personal work and like sort of kind of experiment with UI design, try certain different sort of stuff, and like pretty much something sort of like that.
So, yeah, I have a question about your vectors and UI. What do you
Yeah, sure.
think is actually more applicable in the Roblox Twitter community? A vector pack or vector commissions?
Well, to be honest with you, like I've tried both. Vector Pack, it doesn't really get as many sales as people might think. More so, like many people would love to have something more bespoke, something that's made for the game rather than something they bought online. So they do tend to sort of reach out to you and ask for commissions rather than buying a pack that's already made, because it doesn't seem like a sort of thing that would be unique to them and sort of thing that they'll probably want for their game, to be honest with you.
Yep, that's actually more good. So adding on to that, have you ever said no to a big opportunity of some commissioner, and why did you say no to them?
Well, to be honest, I've said no to many people because I do tend to limit my commissions to maybe 2 a week or something as such, because I do like to focus on my time, and if it makes sense, then I would take on big projects. However, because of the time and, it wouldn't really make sense for me to take on like a whole lot of commissions. So I would say no to a lot of people, no matter how big they are. Like I've had like companies, like people from different industries reach out to me, but like a lot of people that are well known in Roblox that reach out to me. But obviously, because of the situation that I have, it wouldn't really make sense, nor would it be fair to them that I would take on their commissions to then have it take longer than they expect, or to not have it as great of a quality that they should be having. So I would like limit my commissions to maybe 2, which is why I say no to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's good actually. So how did you actually set your current price of your vector? Because you have been in the community for a long time and you're pretty popular.
Yeah. So what I do is kind of look at the style. A lot of people rather have a cartoony style, something more bespoke, because it is unique to them, and it's pretty much within their game style, because Roblox is, you have to look at the customer base, and Roblox is generally a kids game. Like the majority of the consumer base are kids that would want a cartoony sort of style and something colorful rather than something like realistic. So what I would do is look at the style and see the market. So if the demand is high on cartoony style, then obviously you could like make the rates go higher. So I look at the market, look at the style, and I then sell price based on that.
Yeah, that's adding on to that. Like you have your website, which is pretty good, and
Thanks, man.
you have your Twitter account too. So how do you actually cultivate your audience, and what makes the audience growth more, the website or your social media pages?
Well, to be honest with you, you have to try something new. You have to try something that pique audience interest whilst maintaining something that will be recognizable to them, such as the Roblox, the Roblox website redesigns that are doing well at the moment. People who look at the Roblox web designs, they've looked at it for a couple of years now, and they've seen they've recognized it, and to change that sort of aspect would be kind of interesting to them, and see based on that Roblox language that, hey, it will look interesting if certain things are changed. It would probably be better, it'll probably be worse. However, it does generate a lot of clicks, and a lot of people do enjoy seeing something different now and then.
That's actually adding on to your point. Have you ever tried to do minimalistic stuff on Roblox?
Well, to be honest, I have, but it doesn't really seem to be lined up to my style at the moment, because I sort of find minimalism like sort of boring, because you see it everywhere. Like you see it on different websites, you see it on certain games. However, like I don't really find it the same enjoyment doing minimalism compared to something like stylistic, bold, like more creative and colorful, to be honest with you. However, there are like certain like rules and aspects that minimalism have to follow that do tend to make the UI like sort of interesting. And I'm not saying it is easy. However, for me personally, I would rather stick to creative side, like something which has more like detail and sort of a style to it rather than something like minimalistic, you know.
Yeah. So what what do you think about this community challenges? So like art contest, contest, because there have been no such thing as vector contest or UI contest. How you feel about those?
Yeah. But to be honest, contests are great. It's a good motivator for people to like sort of improve their style and their sort of experience level. Because some people they're rather focused on like the money aspect of it. However, like sure you could focus on the money aspect. However, like because I've seen some of the interviews before, such as Vexios and Hasties, they talk about first not trying to do focus on commissions and rather much the experience and building up that experience to then focus on commissions rather than the other way around. So contest, because there's a price to it and also an aspect of leveling up your experience to sort of win that contest, it's a big motivator for people to improve, and I do believe it's great for the community.
Yep. So are you planning on doing any contests for UI and vector community especially?
Well, if I find the time to do so, then I'll definitely try some, you know.
So I know you have seen this, but there is a trend going on that the vector commissions usually are now following the base of the Pet Simulator X ideas, the potions
Yeah.
and stuff. How do you feel about that? This trend that Pet Simulator X has set.
Yeah. First of all, the designer of the Pet Simulator X is Vector's Screaming Loud. So she basically is very creative, and I do really like her style. Some of my work are based on her style, and also clients who do commission me tend to enjoy the Pet Simulator X's aesthetics and would commission me to make it look sort of like that. So to me, Pet Simulator X's style is very unique, and it's cartoony. It's pretty much the most ideal vector style for a kid's game. And because Pet Simulator X is extremely popular, I'm not really surprised that a lot of people do tend to follow the Pet Simulator X's style and sort of theme, because it is it is extremely popular, and to be honest, like there is like a customer base for it.
So about vectors, where do you actually start making a vector? Like for me, example, I have never actually tried to make vectors, so I don't know where to start. So
Yeah.
what is your tips and tricks on that?
So it's actually it's hard to say, to be honest. But what I would do is start by learning how to sort of illustrate with certain shapes and how to use shapes effectively in Illustrator, and then sort of get a feel for Illustrator, and then I'd go on to sort of play with the style, certain compositions, maybe sort of like experiments. Like it doesn't really have to be like one specific style. It can be like your own style, and like, to be honest, it could be any software, but Illustrator is probably the best options if you really want to go into vector or anything illustrative based.
Illustrator is actually like standard, right? Industry.
Yeah, it is. Well, because like Photoshop or something like that, they'll turn if you zoom in, it'll actually turn the vectors into pixels. And Illustrator, it doesn't really do that. So you have that. If you were to resize the vector, it would like, it wouldn't look blurry or pixelated. It'll remain the same,
Yep. So, have you had any inspirations in the Roblox community?
Well, not so much in Roblox. I have some inspiration on stuff outside of Roblox, Pinterest, things like, wait, hold on, I do have a list here. So let me just check. Hold on. All right, so I do have inspiration such as Ren Hygel from Pinterest. Sorry if I butchered that. Shelley Humphreys, and also the Team Unicorn. They are like amazing artists, and I tend to follow their work more rather than people on Roblox, because you can't really you don't really find certain styles on Roblox as much as some things you'll find on Google or Pinterest or even other platforms. So I do like to go like separate from Roblox and find other artists that are great in other platforms to sort of have inspiration from.
Yeah, that's very good. So, do you think that working in the Roblox community, like getting commissions, limits your creativity in certain ways of how you imagine things?
Um, to be honest,
Because as you
well,
mentioned that
yeah,
people like cartoony style, so there is no room for something like realistic based.
yeah. So, well, not really, to be honest. Like, it's more so researching the market and also what people want. Because if I was to make something like a personal project, then I would go completely off and do it my way. However, if it is commissions, yes, I'm very limited to what the commission and the client wants, rather than what could like be different. However, I do tend to make the commission based on the map design and the design overall, and whether they give me certain limitations like themes or inspirations is up to them, because I can't really make that judgment by my own, because at the end of the day the client is paying. And what's on in terms of Roblox and the sort of scripting limitations, like I'd say there are a few limitations, but we as designers like try to make compromises whilst also maintaining the same sort of design language and quality that we could be making to make the design overall a greater experience than others.
That is for me, when actually I made logos, I actually make logos, but I took a break because of college and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt burnt out? Like you just want to stop doing the whole thing?
Well, other times I've taken many huge breaks because of that. However, the whole situation there is to allow yourself to have a break and allow yourself to to recuperate, and also to sort of know that because you know because you're making a lot of things, you're being a lot productive, that you do need like that sort of that sort of waiting time before you come back and do sort of creative type tasks to not have that sort of mental breakdown or whatever. Because like I said before, you have to put your mental health first, and then yeah, you can put your work second.
Yep, that's very important because a lot of artists nowadays just focus on how they will get more commissions. And
Yeah, definitely.
because I've seen a lot of artists, they actually are very, very, very talented than me, but they are in a rush to just
I'm sure you
open.
agree, mate. I'm sure you agree.
Thank you, man. But they are just in rush to create a logo, for example, for their commission sheets.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I do have like the same sort of this is the same sort of situation where I do like find I need to make something to sort of keep my Twitter account active. However, like later on, I've just grew up to learn that it's not really about keeping your account active and your followers like going up, because like at times like people will just follow you because they enjoy what you do and don't really care how long it takes for you to sort of upload, as long as the quality is the same and they like your content, then it's fine.
yep. So have you actually made your workflow more efficient than it was before?
Well, in terms of my workflow, I've learned through my many years, because the way it is, I first started to make UI designs based on themes and inspiration, and then I've progressed into sort of understanding that you don't really need to follow a theme or inspiration. All you need to do is sort of look at the game design, and if the UI fits within the game and the design looks great, then I'm sure the game will do well and the client will be very happy about it.
Yeah, that's
But in terms of workflow, I do like to create unique designs rather than something I look up on Google, which I do by creating wireframes and getting the designs approved by the team.
yeah. So have you had just no don't name them, but have
Yeah.
you had a worse experience with a client? Like
Um,
totally worse.
yeah, through my my starting years of UI design, I've had a few hiccups with clients. However, I've learned to do a lot of background checks before working with the clients. I also implemented the 50% rule, where I would get paid 50% upfront as to be used as collateral, advised by great UI designer Egotism. If you don't know, she's advised me to do the 50% upfront, because if the client sort of leaves or ditches you at the middle of the commission, then you do have that 50% to sort of have some form of payment for the time. However, of course the client doesn't really own that bit of UI afterwards.
Yeah. So do you have any NDAs or commissions to sign?
I have a few, so NDAs, non-disclosure agreement, and I have I have a few companies that like I've signed an NDA towards, so can't discuss much about, but yeah, it's great. It's great.
So what do you actually like more? Roblox GFX or Roblox UI and Vector?
Well, for me personally, I like Roblox UI and Vector more than GFX and ads, icons. To be honest, like my passion towards UI is very much different towards GFX, because GFX have to follow a whole bunch of rules, while in UI I could pretty much experiment and do things my way. And GFX, I think GFX is like sort of more harder because I'm not really used to working in Blender. Through my first years, I used to work in Cinema 4D, and then I progressed to Blender, and then I just grew out of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I have not seen you making GFX recently.
Yeah, for a while, right? Yeah.
Uh, I personally think there is a lack of platform for these three communities like UI, vector, and logo community,
Yeah,
because GFX community is pretty popular than these communities.
yeah, definitely. Um, there seems to be a community where like it's they're more used to like Roblox having GFX rather than UI, icons, vectors. They seem tend to follow more on the GFX side rather than the other communities. I do think that the vector, UI, uh, logo community, they have a lot of potential in that market. However, like it's kind of a hard subject to like overlook. Okay, so can I ask you questions?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
You sure? So, what do you do in the community? Do you do logo design, right?
I do logo design now. I used to be GFX designer.
Is it? Oh, GFX design. What do you work in Blender?
Yeah, Blender, and I had C40, but I never really got into
Okay.
it.
So, what made you switch?
I just got limited by Roblox GFX. I got like
Yeah.
a lot of profile picture commissions, and it just got repetitive. And I just feel like I need a change. I need a new skill to learn. So I got into logo design.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about the logo design community compared to the GFX community?
I think that GFX community is more popular and has more audience reach than logo community, of course,
Yeah.
because people really like to test the logo designers. So
Yeah.
one
I understand.
commissioners actually a commissioner commissions five different people, five different logo designers, and he
Yeah.
chooses the one. It's not like that
Mhm.
about GFX, right?
So, what do you think about the prices in the market of logo design compared to GFX design? Since we are in the process of GFX designers and also logo designers having like a sort of different leverage in the community.
So generally what happens that GFX design is more leaned towards the profile pictures and banners market, for Twitter
Yeah.
community. And some people like Soft JB do
Hmm.
actually make GFX for games and production studios.
Yeah.
So there is like a trend that if like me, I charge 2K for a profile picture,
Okay.
people will like attack me because, oh, he's charging 200, he makes
Or really,
better
uh,
than you.
for me, 2K isn't really that much to be honest. Like, how much is that in like what's it called? USD? That's pretty much like cents.
3K, if you buy it, it's $30, but through DevX rate,
Yeah,
it's
but through DevX is 70 cents, mate. So like, it's really overpriced. If kids could earn more from doing household chores, or from pocket money,
yes,
sound like so 70 cents isn't really that much. Actually, my bad, it's $7, but same point. Like,
yeah, but because of majority of the people keep their prices below 1,000 Robux, it's just
yeah,
a trend that you should be in this price range if you
yeah,
have this.
but that's the problem you see in the market. A lot of people are underpricing their work because they don't know the value of money, to be honest. And right now, like a lot of big name companies are joining the Roblox space and Roblox metaverse. So isn't it, sort of like, would it be worth it to charge low? Is what I'm saying, because like a lot of people are willing to pay the higher amount if they can get that higher quality.
Yeah, that happened with Softy also, because
Yeah.
he normally gets commissioned by you know, big studios which have a lot of budget in their hand.
Yeah.
It's just like if you're offering some premium quality GFX and you're not popular in the community, you just have to charge low, because there is no way of actually getting the audience reach if you
Hmm.
don't charge low and end up getting no commissions and just practicing stuff.
Okay, so what if you could charge high? However, you have a justification to charge that amount. Would you charge the amount, or would you still want to charge low because it'll gain you more customers or whatever, you know?
If I have justification and I trust my product, I would definitely charge high.
Yeah.
It's
Fair enough.
if your idea is unique enough or you automatically gain audience, it's not the point.
Mhm.
But
Well, from my point of view, what I'm saying is you rather have one client paying $20 rather than have 20 clients paying $1, you know? Like that's my point of view. Like, why would you charge low? Because like for the time and effort put into your logo, it wouldn't really make sense to make that logo in that amount of time when you could be spending that time elsewhere and earning a lot more, you know?
yeah, that's also good. So I've actually sent you two of my logos, which I actually tried in this community.
Yeah, yeah, those are great concepts, you know?
They don't really work
Uh,
out here because it's just not.
yeah, on Roblox, I'm not sure it'll work, but you know, for professional standard logos, you know, that's pretty great, you know? Like, I definitely see this, you know, from a student in my in my graphics design course, you know, like a lot of people like will make logos sort of like this in my course.
Yeah, actually, I don't go to college since I have just.
I mean, for a person who's learned this, I'm assuming you've learned it yourself, right?
Yeah, all by myself.
Yeah, bro. Like, to be honest, like it's great for someone who learned it yourself, you know.
So, what is actually dream? Like, you go to art college or in different profession?
Well, for me, I'll no, I'm in the process of going to university about UI UX design, you know, and for me, I would love to like sort of get the idea and experience of a professional studio and how they cope and go through professional work, you know, UI design for AAA games or whatnot. So for me, what I would love to do is go into an industry standard where we're making like UI designs based or for AAA games, you know. Hopefully we can do this again soon, or I can join other artists, you know, have like a creative space with the, you know, sort of
Yeah,
like a creative talk, you know.
surely we can actually do that in upcoming days. I'll actually talk with a lot of people so we can actually have a group chat and discuss about issues.
That's great. I can subscribe to your artist podcast.
Thank you. So you have actually 20 seconds to shout anyone out or shout out your website or any
Awesome.
Discord server. Go.
Shout out to Lily for this podcast interview. Shout out to Icarus for recommending me to him. Shout out to LXD Dev for the collaborations. Shout out to Gear for his sick UI designs, and also shout out to me. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you for joining me. I had a great time with you.
Me too,
Hopefully, we
man.
can
Thank you.
do this again. And bye.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, see ya.